hot out for all black, isn't it?
Well, Don, what have you seen from your defensive line, both the first group and maybe some guys behind them?
The thing in the defensive line, what they're really doing well right now is they're communicating and they're running. There's numerous plays where those guys, any one of those defensive linemen, are 20 yards down the field. That's sideline to sideline. So I think that's the most impressive. And there's a lot of things that are impressive with the defensive line right now, but I'm really happy about the way they're running.
Eric and DeForest, I mean, that's how you draw it up, right? The size those guys have at the defensive end spot. What's sort of the key for them to use the size they have and turn that into production, I guess?
I think Eric and Defo both have some unique gifts. They're big, they're long, they're strong, and they're fast. I think what we have to do a great job of as coaches is put them in some positions where they can use those abilities. So that they're not always doing the same thing, but we give them some opportunities to sometimes pass rush and sometimes move and let them show their gifts.
We talked about how the offensive line working with those guys has improved. How have they improved working against the offensive line? Eric.
I think right now the competition between the offensive line and defensive line is really good. I mean, our offensive line is, those guys are really sharp. They know everything from a schematic standpoint, so they do a good job of forcing the defensive guys to really play with great pad level, to react to different blocks, because all of a sudden there's a block you haven't seen for a while and it shows up. So going against our offensive line provides a great opportunity for us to see a lot of different things that we're going to see throughout the season and to get a lot of reps of playing against them right now.
We're talking to DeGrasso. He said that he knows that it's going to be the best tandem interior that they're going to face all season going up against those two guys. Is that something you'd agree with, that they're the best tandem that you guys are going to see all year?
I have no idea where our guys rank nationally, and that's not really focused for us. I do believe that they're really good, and I think at the end of the season we'll look up and find out exactly how good.
Talk about the line a little bit. Eric Armstrong and his leadership role on the line this season.
Eric, since Eric made that decision, since he kind of returned in the winter, he's been a different guy. And throughout the winter, we have a lot of different activities where guys have an opportunity to step up and lead. And he's been very consistent since then and throughout camp. And it's not only leading vocally, but his play has been really good. He's been really productive on the field. So now you've got a guy who's emerged vocally as a leader and also is playing at a very high level. So that's very key for our defense right now.
Coach Ross was talking on Tuesday about, we were asking about Morgan Mahalik, and he said he was behind it. It's kind of balancing that in terms of how much time you want to spend with him, and you still got guys that are going to be playing and kind of giving them full attention. Do you guys find that kind of sort of balancing act on the defensive end as well?
Thus far in camp, what we've done is we've given everyone a lot of reps. For us, this period is the first half of camp for us is about getting everyone reps and finding out who can learn, who can absorb, and then trying to put those guys in positions where they can help us in the fall. So for us, it's a little different the way we look at the depth chart.
Is anyone jumping out defensively that you just can't keep off the field that's coming in this year?
The new guys, the tough thing about the new guys, all those guys, you said differently. I think the freshman class is very talented. I think that class has a lot of talent. And so all of those freshmen at different times are flashing, but those times are far and few in between because there's so much information. And so when they know what they're doing, they look good. And other times, they kind of look like freshmen.
Well, I should probably know this, but in past years, in game day, have you been in the booth or on the field?
I've been on the field probably since 2000.
Okay, so now you won't be though this year, is that right? Or you haven't decided?
I haven't made a decision yet. Okay. We're still trying to figure out the strengths and weaknesses of the staff, and then we need to put the best box guys in the box and the best round guys.
We'll probably address this. I know you did all spring, but just as comfortable in this role as you were previously all those years at linebacker, just maybe a little more responsibilities?
No, I'm very comfortable in the position. There's more to think about. But in terms of the comfort level, do I feel comfortable with them? Absolutely. The staff is awesome. The kids are awesome. Coach Helfrich's the best. It's just a great situation.
What are the pros and cons as a defensive coordinator of being up in the booth as opposed to down on the field or vice versa?
When you try to, at least to me, making a decision whether the coordinator's up or down, it depends on your assistants. If you have great guys in the box with great eyes that can get you information, then you can be on the sideline and make the adjustments, get down, be on the field with the kids, look them in the eye, and diagram things. If you don't have great eyes in the box, then you need to be in the box to see it yourself, and then have someone else diagram and make corrections on the field. So it's more of what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, how do you take your staff and really evaluate strengths and weaknesses and make the best decision for the team.
Is that a decision that you'll want to make before the season and then stick that way, or could you change that up throughout the season?
I haven't thought that far. I think we have another scrimmage coming up, and we're going to change the configuration and change the guys that are charged and change the guys that are looking at different things and just see how it works out. We have a little time, but we want to get the best combination. It's all about that. It's not about being on the sidelines. It's not about being it's about what is the best combination and use of coach's talent.
What do you see as Tyson Coleman's role this year? Is he an outside guy or in the rotation inside? How do you see him?
I think right now Tyson's doing a tremendous job outside. The nice thing, what we really like about Tyson is that he could go inside if we need to. And so Tyson provides some flexibility for us.
Is Trotney a guy that can get after the passer this year? Now that he's been in the system for a year.
Rodney is really gifted.
Yeah.
As a pass rusher. He's got some cat quickness. He can understand things really well, understand protections, and he understands how to beat people. So we're hopeful that he'll continue to mature as the season progresses and be a real force at some point. We just don't know when, but at some point he has the gifts. We like to see that. We like to see it sooner than later.
How did he get on the field last year? Was it just he had so much ability, even though he was new, you had to get him out there? Or what was his role last year compared to this year?
I think last year we were coming into camp looking at the skills of the skill set of the rush backers, and his skill set is good, and we were filling the void because we lost Dion and some guys. So he flashed. So we tried to create some situations to get him out there.
You mentioned having Eric in the winter with you. Was that a significant thing for him, and just sort of the focus of being able to solely focus on football and not have basketball on his plate too?
I don't know exactly where his mind was when he came, when he made that decision. Or once he made the decision and kind of joined the team, he was 100% full speed ahead, and that's what we saw, and it's continued. And he's playing at a very high level right now.
So he might be further ahead, at this point in the season than in years past, just because he did have that whole winter with you.
I think he's a lot farther ahead. I think part of it's that because not only being with the team and learning, but also he had the good winter conditioning. Normally we play basketball, you come out late and you miss some of that. So I think he's benefiting from being here in the weight room with Coach Radcliffe as well.
How's the battle at safety between Daniels and Robinson been progressing over the last week?
I think all those young DBs are fighting, and they're fighting and they're up and down and up and down. But I think it's been healthy, and I think right now it's still a battle. I don't think anyone's jumped out. Probably ask Coach Neal. I studied the big picture. Coach Neal really looks at what they're doing, but I see both of them flash. I hope they keep flashing and everyone else keeps flashing because we're going to need all of them to be successful this year.
How do you guys look at the second scrimmage differently than the first in terms of maybe evaluation-wise?
The second scrimmage for us, the first scrimmage you want to see who's going to run around and hit people. I mean, it's more who, I may not know what to do, but I'll run around and hit someone. You look for that. Now in the second scrimmage, you're looking for who has a real command of what you're doing, who can really help us the following week in the game. So it is viewed a little different. It's evaluated differently. It's evaluated a little more on how much you understand the scheme, how much you understand technique, as opposed to the first scrimmage, which is who's aggressive and wants to run around and play football.
And I believe they said that's going to be next Thursday.
I don't know exactly. It's next week sometime.
Going back to the DB battle, would you rather have it be nip and tuck, or would you rather have a guy really grab hold of the position and make it his this early on?
You know, for us to be successful on defense, we need 22, 26 guys that can actually rotate in place. At all positions, we like that competition level to be as high as possible, and that it be neck and neck, so when the first guy rotates and the second guy comes in, there's no drop off.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.